My name is Luis Ochoa, and you're listening to Jason Zukus and the University of Chicago Public Policy Podcast.
Hello and welcome to Have You Heard, the UC3P News Quiz. I'm the announcer and scorekeeper, Izzy Hirsch-Licht. I'm a first-year MPP student here at Harris. And here's your host, Jason Zukus.
All right, thank you, Izzy. As you mentioned, my name is Jason Zukus, a joint degree MPP MBA student here at the University of Chicago and the host for this program. So I'm joined today by three contestants. First, I have Arnaldo Cruz, MPP 04. Who is the Director of Research and Analytics at the Foundation for Puerto Rico and Chairman of the Board for the Puerto Rico Institute of Statistics. Next up, we have Poppy Coleman, MPP 14, and a Lead Business Analyst at UPMC Health Plan. And then finally, we have Elaine Li, a current Harris MPP. And Elaine will be graduating this June to join USAID as a Foreign Service Officer. And we'll also be joined later by former Assistant Secretary of State for Population, Refugees, and Migration, Ann Richard, who will be participating in a special quiz round. But first, so Arnaldo and Poppy, could you just tell us a bit more about the impressive roles you've held since leaving Harris?
Frankly, no. I work with Medicaid data at a Medicaid managed care organization, kind of looking through our medical claims data to identify process improvement opportunities. And I get to partner with a lot of different departments in the insurance company. And it's a perfect role for me because I love dealing with data.
That's great. And so it sounds like you also deal with data. Is that right?
Yes, a lot. I'm head of research for a local NGO in Puerto Rico, think tank around economic development issues. We do a lot of sort of national economic development work, but also we do community economic development programs where we're doing a lot of lab sort of economic development at the community level and testing to see how we can improve economic indicators at the community level. And so I do that, and then the Puerto Rico government has a autonomous statistical institute, National Statistical Institute, and it's governed by a board, and I currently chair the board of the institute.
Wow.
Oh yeah, so I co-founded I do many things. So I co-founded a transparency NGO in Puerto Rico. So we do a lot of transparency, open data, and sort of civic engagement using technology and data. So it's very cool work.
That's great to hear. Yeah, it's very inspiring for all of us current students to see how you were able to potentially apply our studies in the future. But now we'll see how well your studies have prepared you for news trivia. So we'll start with a round of Complete the Quote. So in this round, I'll read out some recent quotes from world leaders, and you'll have to tell me who said it. Okay, we'll start with Elaine first.
Sure.
So Elaine, which world leader recently posted on Twitter, "What is a golden shower?" a day after posting a video showing the act?
That sounds like Trump.
Yeah, so that was going to be the hint, is that this, as we often have to clarify, this was not Donald Trump. So it was actually, the video was from a really big festival in the country. It's called Carnival. Does that help you?
No. Brazil?
Yes. It was Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro. Yeah, so most think that he used the video to discredit the many Carnival goers who have protested his anti-LGBTQ policies.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, okay, Poppy, after watching a famous Turkish historical drama on TV, this other world leader reportedly said, "This series teaches the real Islam, and one day, maybe thanks to it, I will embrace Islam." So as a hint, he's another South American leader who's been facing a lot of heat back home.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah?
The guy from Venezuela?
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro reportedly told the Turkish foreign minister that he was considering converting to Islam after going on about all the characters in the series.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, Arnaldo. Speaking of religion, which world leader stated last year that God was stupid and that if someone could prove God's existence, he would resign immediately?
And it wasn't Trump, right?
It was not. It was, again, to clarify, not Trump. Would you like a hint?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so it didn't go over well since he's the leader of one of the only Asian countries with a large proportion of Catholic citizens. Has a somewhat related history to Puerto Rico. Was involved with the U.S. around the same time in history.
Asian, Philippines?
The Philippines, yes, that's right. Yes, so it's the Philippines president, Rodrigo Duterte. So it's not the first time he's also said something considered controversial or blasphemous. He's even called the Pope an SOB for causing massive traffic during a 2015 visit to Manila. All right, soon we'll be having on Ann C. Richard for a special round of Not My Research Area, where we ask special guests about topics completely unrelated from their area of expertise.
So joining us today as our special guest is Ann C. Richard, who served as the Assistant Secretary of State for Population, Refugees, and Migration from 2012 to 2017. Before that, she was Vice President of Government Relations and Advocacy at the International Rescue Committee, and now serves as an adjunct professor at the Institute for the Study of International Migration at Georgetown University. Please give a warm welcome to Ann C. Richard.
But most importantly, I got a master's at the Committee on Public Policy.
Yes.
At the University of Chicago. in the
84.
early era, pre-Harris School days.
That's right. Yes, thanks for joining us. So I first just want to thank you for your government service and for dedicating yourself to working on such a difficult topic, international conflict and refugee policy, one that we see from the news today is as critical as ever. How did you decide to focus on this policy area?
I was interested in international issues and travel. When I was at Chicago, I did a internship downtown Chicago at the Chicago Council on Foreign Relations, which is today the Chicago Council on Global Affairs. So I've come full circle because I've spoken there subsequently. So I was very happy to go out and see the world.
Yeah, that's great. And I also just wanted to say that in our short introduction, we weren't even able to touch on your previous senior roles in the State Department, the Peace Corps, and the Council on Foreign Relations. So do you have any tips for current students or recent graduates on how to forge a career path and finding the right opportunities?
I would guess I'd say stay open for opportunities, and learn how to podcast, I suppose.
Thank you. It's a good skill to have. Well, you're here today for a special round, as I mentioned, of Not My Research Area. So we're going to quiz you on something other than conflict and migration policy. So as I'm sure you know well, the government is known to love acronyms. I can even summarize your early career by saying that you started as a PMI at OMB before moving on to DOS and serving at CFR. But we'll see how knowledgeable you are of another area that loves acronyms, the internet. So we hope you won't say IDK to any of these questions. Before we start, here are the stakes. If you answer 2 out of the next 4 questions right, you'll win a special prize for yourself and our top contestant in the pre-show quiz. Who's that, Izzy?
So our top contestant from the pre-show quiz was MB.
Who's MB?
Whoever is MB.
Okay.
Congratulations. Everything's on the line for you.
All right, here's the first question. What does IMHO stand for? Is it A, I must head out, B, in my humble opinion, or C, in meeting, hang on?
It's B.
Yes, it is B, in my humble opinion.
All my opinions are humble.
All right, next up. What does TLDR mean? Is it A, too long, didn't read? B, tough loss, don't remind? Or C, tequila lingers, don't remember?
This one I am unfamiliar with. Tough loss, don't remind.
People like C. We don't know if they're tricking you.
I guess I'll guess A.
It is A, yeah. So it's most commonly used, like at the end of an email, if it's a really long email and you don't really have time to read it.
I wish you had told me this years ago. It would have been really helpful as an assistant secretary.
Oh, yeah,
to
put a
respond
TLDR
to a
at
lot
the
of
end.
emails that way.
Yeah. All right, next up. What does ICYMI stand for? Is it, I caught your mom itching? B, if careful, you might impress? Or C, in case you missed it?
See, you're forgetting you're talking to a mother of millennials. So I happen to know this is C.
It is C. That's right. All right. Last but not least, you're doing great so far. Can you tell me what SMH means? Is it A, she married him, B, shake my head, or C, so much hate?
I thought I knew this one, and I don't recognize any of the. I'm gonna guess B.
It is B.
Shake my
Wow,
head.
good work.
Congratulations, Anne. You got 4 out of 4 correct, making you a winner, as well as MB is a winner today.
So, can I take advantage of being up here to ask you if you know Lin-Manuel Miranda?
Yeah, we hang out all the time. No, I saw him actually. He came to Puerto Rico, to do a show. And my brother has a daughter, and he got tickets for him and the daughter, not for me. So it's a 16-year-old niece that I have. So I didn't get tickets. So I go to my niece and I say, "Listen, you're really not going to understand what he's saying. You're not going to remember." So I say, "How much is going to take to buy your ticket?" So I bought her off, and I was able to go. So.
That's a beautiful family story. It's really touching.
Well, if you want to come up, as your prize for the two of you winning this quiz round, this special quiz round, we have a little Harris thank you for you, but also, just apropos of the quiz round, we got you the Parents Workbook on Cyber Slang and Internet Acronyms. Well, welcome back to Have You Heard, the UC3P News Quiz. So let's get back to some more questions for our panelists. So to start, we're thankful that the alumni gathered here, all of you, were able to join us from all around the country and even some from around the world. So we're also hopeful that you were able to avoid some of the following airline mishaps in getting here. So Arnaldo, a British Airways flight to Germany recently took longer than expected due to which surprising gaffe? Was it A, the plane had to taxi back to the terminal after a parent realized he left his child behind? B, an incorrectly filed flight plan had the plane first land in Scotland? Or C, the plane had to make an emergency landing due to loose snakes?
I'm going to say B.
It is B, that's right.
I remember the stories.
Oh, yeah. Apparently nobody even noticed or said anything until it landed because it was a Monday morning flight and most people were either working or sleeping. All right, Poppy. This person accidentally ended up flying into Chicago last year after which mishap occurred? Was it A, a baggage handler fell asleep in the cargo hold of a plane headed to Chicago? B, a man headed to visit relatives in Chicago, Zimbabwe, accidentally boarded the wrong plane? Or C, an avid birdwatcher didn't realize his friend's invitation to go see the Blackhawks meant watching a hockey game, not the actual bird?
I want it to be A, that someone fell asleep in the hold.
Yes, that's right. That's what happened. The man apparently was drunk on the job, though thankfully he wasn't hurt during his impromptu trip. And Elaine, last month, a passenger flying out of Chicago made the news after doing which of the following? Was it A, punching an air marshal during a heated argument? B, urinating on a crew member's luggage? Or C, buying all the food on board and then attempting to resell it for a profit?
I feel like the people who have graduated seem to know the answer to all these questions. So if I get this wrong, it's totally okay, right?
Totally okay.
Let's go with A.
It's actually B. Yes, this is a common theme apparently in this show, urination. So she also was allegedly drunk on the flight before committing the deed, though she denied it to the police and said she had no recollection of doing it. Though, of course, I'm sure that's probably true, but doesn't mean it didn't still happen.
Tequila lingers.
Exactly. There's so many connections in this show. Well, now that you've all thankfully made it here safely to the new Keller Center, what do you think of the new building?
It's gorgeous.
I want a rebate for not coming here. Maybe $5,000 rebate or something on my tuition.
Yeah, we're all really thankful to the Keller and Harris families for making our new home possible and lending their names to the building. But next up, we'll quiz you on some other new and interesting named places or things that have been in the news. Elaine, in the fall, NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine directed the space agency to look into which of the following branding opportunities? Was it A, renaming NASA as the Nike Aeronautics and Space Administration?